Yeah. So if you don't have the corporate culture underlining the behavior or actually guiding the behavior of staff, then you're going to have a dysfunctional, kind of relationship or dysfunctional organization.
I want to put a first scenario across for us. There is this big politician in Ghana who gave out a check to master. And they went to the bank. He's a very big man. I would call it a key account for the bank.
Yeah.
The whole bank. The students went to the branch in Kumasi, and then apparently they didn't have any money. But then, according to the general manager or the managing director of the company in Accra, they were supposed to have given the students money. Then they would refer to the man to put in money for them to have it. Now the man got angry and decided to move out. What should they have done?
Yeah. To all of us.
Something like this,
Yeah.
have a company.
Can you hear? Yeah. Up your voice a little bit.
The bank should have probably anticipated something like this happening. And maybe design a product for, like, for example, when Zenith Bank came, they said you could have zero account. So perhaps
You could have what?
zero account.
Zero account, yeah.
Yes. You could have developed a product that will cater for scenarios like this one.
Yeah.
Also, once they know the person's credit well, looking at the person's statements and credit history, they should have been able to give us the money to the student. I think there are a couple of times, my dad's a building contractor.
Yeah.
A couple of times he was banked with NIB. Sometimes he did not have the money, but there are times they call him and tell him that, okay, you don't have money, we are giving you this amount of money. Even when you have not been paid for this amount of time, you can still access this amount of money, knowing that the person is credit worthy and when the person has the money, is going to pay back.
That's right.
There were limitations because the man has so much money that if they want to call him, the check has to be beyond a certain amount of money. Or they have an internal discussion and then give out the money. In this case, it was, to him, the amount of money wasn't that much, which you should have prompted them to call him. So they didn't call him.
Okay, so there is an agreement between him and the bank that when the amount hits this amount,
then call
you have to draw my attention.
If it's not,
but I think that discretion is also one of the rules, isn't it? In business, you've got to, at a point, use your discretionary, power abilities to actually determine what. But you see, the point is that it is also based on history. Has he been contacted in the past about this small amount of money and he's been angry? If he hasn't been that, then you have to do it as one. But if there had been a history of he being angry because you're bothering me with this kind of thing, then of course the bank has every right to actually follow that pattern and say that we're not. But if there hadn't been any such occurrence, I mean, for me, I would actually still contact him and do what I think is right for the customer.
I think the contact should have been the best thing by the bank.
Yeah.
To ascertain the fact whether they should go ahead despite the fact that there is no money in his account to pay the student.
Yeah. Okay. You want to say something?
I was going to say this is a man who deals directly with the managing director of the whole bank.
Yeah.
So that's his level of relationship. It doesn't come down to that level. And he was anticipating that the money was that small. Once there was no money in the account, they were not even supposed to get to him. They could call maybe the head office or something to verify that this is a man we deal with, and not get him to that level of disgrace.
What it means is that the regional office didn't know the level of
there wasn't
the
communication.
extent
That's
of the relationship between the headquarters and the managers.
Yeah.
There is a lot on the part of the bank.
Yeah.
Right away from the managing director.
Yeah.
Because as a key account holder, they should know everybody in each branch should know who their key accounts are. So I think it's a flaw.
You see, can we say that, and say, given this scenario, can we say that every key account is worth pursuing? Is every key account worth pursuing?
Yes.
It is in the interest of the
Yeah. But let me give you a scenario. Two key accounts, all right? One buys 100 tons from you every month. And the 100 tons unit, if they buy, they say, okay, we have 10 offices across this country. Once you buy that, and they are the major, please distribute it to every branch of ours in your own cost by your own distribution. The other, and then they ask you for, let's say, 45-day credit facility. The other buys, let's say, 40 tons from you. They say, oh, despite the fact that we have all over, branches, don't worry, we'll buy it, but we'll actually do our own supply to our branches. And then they ask you for 20-day credit facility. With these two companies, who would you consider as key account?
The second one that buys bonus.
That's right. But if you have to go through accounting system, the first one is. Are you with me? The accounting system will tell you that the first one is key. But if you look at it from a marketing perspective, the second one is.
Excuse me, sir. But I still think both of them are key. Because if you consider the other one, the other thing, you are being taken from a short-term perspective.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what the relationship is developing. So always the long term.
I agree. I agree that you will want to keep, but say that you actually faced with constraint and you want to actually consider one. I think the second one, because you see, the cost of production is not only the actual cost, but in terms of time and allocations of resources that you actually commit to distributing across the regions, it's also kind of locking you up expertise and locking you up at the essentials that you can actually commit. All right. So sometimes not every key account is actually worth keeping. Assuming that this politician has this rampant kind of behavior of every time throwing tantrums here and there. At a point, sometimes you may want to disengage certain clients. I mean, companies have a way of disengaging clients, especially those that are not profitable. And profitable not only in terms of cash, but in terms of other. Because there will be clients that could actually making your morale of your staff dwindling. You understand? That doesn't mean that you're not being relationship oriented. But each time they come, because of they think who they are, they're just throwing everybody off. Your clients, even your staff, want to smile at no matter what they do. It affects morale, and if it affects the performance of the staff on other customers. You understand? So sometimes you may have to look out for some of these negative tendencies that could actually affect the business. So not every client is worth pursuing, no matter how big the what do you call it? Credit, their customers. Are you with me? Yeah. But of course you have to go the length to make sure that you have done that before you can justifiably say that we have to offload this guy as a key account or we have to disengage the relationship. All right. Okay, let's move on. What we call embedded knowledge. And that's what we have actually discussed some of it. Loss of employees, a human capital, does not lead to disappearance of customer-supplier relationship. And that's what we call the embedded knowledge. Because you have to make sure that the entire business, and it comes under the structural capital thing. You have to make sure that the entire business has the access, has the entire relationship in mind, that you're able to make sure that you link it up to the structure, as opposed to one man show championing everything else, and then once the person leaves, that's it. All right. So the company itself has to be in the know of the entire relationship, and then they should know how to deal with it. So to what extent do you deal with this particular client? What are their likes and dislikes? What are the needs of this client in terms of the relationship? What do they require at what point? So the business needs to understand in total, the relationship dimensions, of that particular, relationship. Otherwise, the staff leaves, and then everything else is gone. Right? And I'm sure that we have discussed it in the course of our interaction. So reputation as relationship criteria. Again, we've discussed that, haven't we? And we talked about reputation, isn't it? In terms of product quality, in terms of, society being society friendly or being responsible to society. So again, reputation is one of the criteria. So if you're not responsible to society, people will think that there is no point being in a relationship with you because you are being responsible with their money. Mind you, it's value that we are exchanging. You give them what they want, they give you money. In order for us both to do what? To survive. Now, should you be irresponsible with that, then what? People would leave. So reputation, a big part. Some customers would want to engage with you because it adds up to their reputation. Why would somebody choose to go in one hotel other than the other? You have to ask yourself that question. These days, we have so many companies that coming out will say they're green companies. All right? Oh, we are green hotel, green transport company. What does a green transport company? Does it mean that the car doesn't go too fast? Every business now is trying to add green to it because it makes them look good. Green schools and things like that. Green universities.
Can we relate it this way that some people will want to work at a specific place because of the reputation?
That's it.
That's a gain, even though they are paid less.
Yeah. There are many people who never wanted to work in PTC, the tobacco company. There are some people who said that they don't want to work in tobacco company because of religion and other factors. All right, so he will opt for other company that pays less than, and PTC used to pay. It became VATs in fact. Used to pay take money, but there were people who were not ready to work in that environment. There are people who don't work in alcoholic, companies because of, But sometimes I sit down and ask myself, the difficulty in kind of taking yourself out, and no offense to, kind of religious, whenever you apply yourself to business in society, there's an iota of some of these things coming over. Either institutional pressures, or maybe personal kind of way to relieve stress on you. You get my point? Sometimes the clients, maybe, card, this ATM thing, it's not ready. And you've called the department several times and they're not responding. Face saving, now you're facing the customer. What are you going to tell them? Sometimes you've got to say something that relieves and kind of relieve the pressure on you. So, in as much as you wouldn't want to work in a kind of blatantly sold kind of environment, business itself, the way it is, always makes us have some of these things. So at what point, I always ask myself, at what point do you actually kind of take your belief systems out of all these? You get my point? For me, I think that if you have the clear conscience in dealing with it, make sure that you separate the two. Your belief is your belief system, and you don't want to compromise it. But then if you have to make choices that I don't want to work in this business because of that, of course, there are some businesses you don't want to work in anyway. You don't want to work as a, what do you call it? They have a name for it. I forgot. There are certain industries, and they're not recognized industries. You wouldn't want to apply yourself in. All right. But when a business is recognized or an industry is recognized as such, I really don't see how you can't, weave yourself out in terms of your belief set and things. Well, but that's my personal belief. That's my personal opinion. You get it? But there are other things that you can actually play.
So, does it mean that if you are into business model like this, does it mean that we
necessarily lie as such, but you see, there are times where in customer services we call it managing expectations. Would you want to go and tell the client that, I'm sorry, point blank, in your face statement? You can't do that. You've got to manage the expectations of the customer. But that does not necessarily mean that you're lying. All right. So you have a way of dealing with it. But in a strict sense, if you have to apply the lie thing,
you may not be telling it.
yeah. Exactly. To suit the relationship.
I believe it's a kind of words that you use that will soften the level of inconveniences that the customer faces. For instance, if you are, say, waiting for a flight and that is delaying, the customer could be told that, sorry, there is a slight delay in the flight. It makes sense by saying that, just saying there's something wrong with the flight. And
I remember when I used to work with T-Mobile, we used to have something, like when a client has an issue, we put it in the CRM systems, you put it in and you say, okay, it's supposed to be attended to in 3 days. So you give the customer a timeline. That 3 days time you get the thing worked out. Now you've got to be monitoring the system to see whether the other department has sorted it. If they haven't sorted it, maybe in the second day, you don't wait for the third day for the client to call to say, oh, sorry, we haven't. You've got to be proactive. Call them to say, oh, I gave you 3 days. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to put it. Now the customer is going to ask you, why haven't you? What is it that? So sometimes you have your storyline in hand. That their system has been down for 3 days now. Yeah. So these are some of the pressures, and the societal pressures that make you do some of these things.
You saying managing expectations. It's like the way Ghana Airways.
Yeah.
Their last flight.
Yeah.
To Ghana.
Were you on it?
Yes. And we were on board and they said that they are sorry there's a problem with the engine.
Yeah.
So after about an hour, they told us that we are about to leave.
Yeah.
Everybody was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I should have told them that there's a problem.
That's right. I mean, imagine going to board a plane. Just within an hour, the plane had a problem with the engine. And they're asking you to go and sit in it, my friend.
We were even on board when they said that.
Really?
So we're supposed to leave and come back.
That's tough, So yeah, you've got to have some glittering words. Manage the relationship, manage it. But in your face like this, it's very difficult. So yeah, reputation is part of the ways that you can actually use to form relationships and to make sure that it keeps on. Any other? Okay. I think we'll end here. Any other questions or clarifications? I've got to look for some assignment for us to start engaging ourselves. But let me say that the Sakai is still not ready. And unfortunately, most of us have actually done our slides we put on there. But from the student side, the guys are not ready to get out to see our students loaded and things. But I have my own platform. So I'll give you access. I think if you go onto copymentor.com, copymentor.com, yeah. The book, yeah, and did it test it? It's on its way. Okay. It's here. All small letters. Yeah. If you go to kobbynshah.com, now I think you will see there are some 3 or 4 kind of boxes. You see one say lecture notes. So click on the lecture notes, and when you get to that page, you have all the courses: undergrad, MBA, MPhil. So you go to the undergrad. My apologies. You go to the MBA, MPhil section, and then you click on it. I mean, you will see relationship marketing as part of the subject display. You click on it, and then the slides will be there, and then the other materials, other resources will be there. If you go to e-resources, you can also go into e-resources and see dissertation guide or resources for completing your dissertations and things like that. There are a lot of materials that you can actually check yourself. And there will be videos and things like that. Community.com. Yeah. Yeah. You click on e-resources, you see other materials. There are case studies, there are exams, answers, like model exams answers. That is how people have answered my questions. And you have example of past exams, you know, you can look at past examinations, and then past assignments. You can look at past assignments, you can look at the model answers to past assignments, so you can familiarize yourself with how I want my assignments to be done, and things like that. You can have a course outline as well. And in the course outline, it displays how I want, or what to do to get 80 plus. And whatever you do, you have your mark in it. So kind of a scheme, like that tells you. Yeah. Okay. MPhil. Are you going? Okay, yeah. But MBA, I think the guy is updating it. Undergrad. I'm sure he's updating it. It's not completed yet. So, yeah, so I'm sure by the close of the day, he would have updated. By the close of the day? Yeah. He would have updated them with it. Any other? Now, when do you think that we should start assignments? Next week. I'm liberal, so I try to. Next week. Okay, I'll bring the assignment next week. Then we'll give ourselves, let's say, about a month. The reason I'm saying that because I like my assignment to be taken seriously. Because I don't like exams. So if you pump up with the assignment, you're sure that this will be. Because I want you to produce a very good assignment with references and things like this. To see your reference skills, you know, I want to examine your referencing skills. It's very crucial that you know how to in-text cite, in-text reference, and make sure that you put it. So that's why I'm very particular with assignment. So I'll give you enough time to do a good work. It's no Wikipedia business. There's another word people use. Please, no interest. Solid literature. You know, solid literature, good references from good journals. Right? I'll give you much time to actually do this. Thanks so much for coming. And see you next week.